I'm Anjuli Velazquez, and welcome to another special edition of AnjuliTV, where I am going to continue my Buffy the Vampire Slayer reviews with Season 2. Now, this is one of my favorite seasons of Buffy. It's actually a very close second. I could pretty much talk about every episode, but I don't think I actually highlighted every single episode, but I do definitely talk about most of them. I'm just going to go over the season and then go into my favorites, so it's not completely in order, but you'll get the gist by the end. In the beginning of the first episode, when she was bad, we see the start of a could-be relationship between Xander and Willow when they almost kiss, but of course they get interrupted by the vampire, and Buffy comes in and saves the day. So nothing actually happens between the two of them, but we do see the spark of something that could happen. We also see the start of Giles and Jenny's relationship, which is nice, because they kind of bickered in the first season, but obviously they did have some sort of feelings for each other, and then now in this season they start dating. It's really sweet because you see how much Giles really likes Jenny. Also, this is not my favorite episode because Buffy is quite the bitch in this episode. She is having a hard time dealing with killing the Master and him killing her, and she has dreams about it and nightmares, so I don't think that she had a good summer at all. And when she gets back, she kind of keeps her distance from everyone, and she even is kind of pushing Angel away. She's like extra bitchy towards him. And she has that sexy dance with Xander at the Bronze. It's kind of pissing everybody off with that little thing. But she does get over it by the end of the episode with some unlikely advice from Cordelia, of all people. In the next episode, Some Assembly Required, we see the start of Cordelia going after Angel, which is quite annoying because Angel would never like her. Okay, this is Cordelia we're talking about. And it does bother me later in the Angel series when they try to make some little romance happen between the two of them, because it is just so against his character. And also, Cordelia went after Angel, like, for a few episodes when he was with Buffy. Like, she is just such a bitch. We first meet Spike and Drusilla in School Hard, who are the big bad of the season. Well, who they start out being the big bad because, you know, Angelus actually is the big bad of the season later on. We learn that Spike and Angel have a history together. We don't know exactly everything about it yet, but actually learn more about it on Angel's show. But we do see that they were friends, or at least went around killing people together back in the day. And Spike says to Angel, "You are my sire, man." And but technically, Angel sired Drusilla, and Drusilla sired Spike. But, you know, you get the gist. You get that they were like a family of their own in their own way or whatever. At the end of this episode, we also learn that there is something evil about the police department in Sunnydale. And later you find out it goes up to the mayor, setting up the big bad for next season, which Strauss does so brilliantly. Inca Mummy Girl is the first time we see Oz. I love him. And I love how he keeps saying, "Who is that girl?" every time he sees Willow. It's like in this episode and in the Halloween episode he does it. And also we see Xander's unlucky streak with women, again, when he falls for the Inca Mummy Girl, and she almost kills him with her kiss, but turns into dust, you know, at the last minute. Reptile Boy, it's a good one. I love Willow's little outburst at Giles and Angel when they realize it's the fraternity who's taking the missing girls, and Buffy is there at a party with Cordelia. Also, on that episode, Jordana Spiro from My Boys is a guest star. Jason Behr is another guest star on Lie to Me, which I just finished watching Roswell again. So that's fun to see him because I really like him. And also on this episode, Buffy feels like Angel is holding something back when it comes to Drusilla, and he finally tells her that he not only turned her into a vampire, but he drove her insane and tortured her before he did that, showing us a little more of how Angelus used to be which is actually, you know, setting it up for later in the season. I like the Dark Age episode because we get to learn more about Giles and how he was as an adolescent, and he was not the perfect little Englishman we thought he was. He dabbled in the magics and ran amok. This season, after like the first few episodes, we finally see Buffy and Angel just get to be in their relationship, which is nice. Instead of going back and forth between whether or not they should start dating, they should be together. I wish it had lasted a little bit longer before he turned into Angelus, though. Like, the first 3 seasons of Buffy are my favorite, and I wish that they kind of would have stretched it out, made it last a little bit longer. Like I said, the whole relationship with Angel, and then later Faith's story, I kind of wish it lasted longer of her being good before she went bad. On the episode Ted, John Ritter guest stars as this evil, creepy, scary robot guy, which he does very well. Innocence, such a good episode, and I feel so bad for Buffy. It just breaks my heart. Phases, it's a good episode. It's where we see that Oz, he gets bit on the finger by his nephew and turns into a werewolf. So I guess it runs in his family. And then this is when him and Willow officially start dating. I Only Have Eyes for You. That's another good episode. Buffy sees this affair of a student and a teacher that happened in the 50s, and the ghosts of them are haunting the school. In the Go Fish episode, Wentworth Miller from Prison Break guest stars. That's fun. I do kind of have a lot of favorite episodes of this season, so just bear with me. Halloween is one of them. It is fun to see Buffy, Xander, and Willow turn into their Halloween costumes, and Buffy and Xander don't know who they actually are. So it's funny to see Buffy as kind of like this helpless girl, and then Xander as this big tough army guy. We also find out in this episode that Giles has a past with Ethan Rayne, which then we learn more about in the Dark Age episode. What's My Line, Part 1 and 2 are another favorites. Since Buffy died at the end of season 1, another Slayer was called, and she comes in these episodes, and it's Kendra. In Part 1, Spike had summoned the Order of Taraka, this group of assassins, to kill Buffy while he's trying to figure out the cure for Drusilla and restore her health. At the ice rink, the first assassin comes and tries to kill Buffy, and Angel saves her, and they have a nice little moment where he doesn't want her to see his vamp face still, but she doesn't care, obviously, because she's in love with him. The thing I don't get, though, about that is how come he can always make it go away fast in other episodes and all the time, but that one time right there, he couldn't make his vampire face go away. I thought that was kind of odd. In Part 2, when Xander and Cordelia are stuck in Buffy's basement, they are fighting so passionately that they start making out, and they start the little make-out sessions here and there before they actually start dating. At the end of this episode, Buffy and Angel have a nice little moment when she saves him, and we think that Spike and Drusilla are dead, but at the end you see Drusilla is actually restored to full health, and she saves Spike from the rubble.